You might have seen some videos online talking about the Rockefeller Method, and you're probably wondering, does this work in Canada? We get questions like this all the time. People are emailing us about it. So let's talk about it. The Rockefeller family is obviously a family known for its ginormous wealth, and they used a strategic approach that actually has now been named after it called the Rockefeller Method. It's also called the Waterfall Concept. And what happened is John D. Rockefeller used it to safeguard the legacy across generations. So today, we're going to go over this financial strategy that's empowered families like theirs to protect and grow their wealth intelligently forever. Whether you're planning for your family's future or to secure your business assets, understanding the principles behind the Waterfall Concept could be key to ensuring your financial legacy can last and stand the test of time. Hi, I'm Laurent Munier, and welcome to our video channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. So as I said just a second ago here, we're going to talk about the Rockefeller Method or the Waterfall Concept. One of the main things that I want to preface this with is that in the US, this strategy is heavily reliant on trusts. While here in Canada, trusts don't really have the same rules around them, making it difficult to compare apples to apples. But in Canada, you can use the life insurance they talk about in the Rockefeller Method, and you use it heavily to do the strategy. And if you're Googling, like Google Waterfall Insurance, it comes up with a lot of the same stuff. So here is how it works. So what is this Waterfall Concept, the Rockefeller Method? In simple terms, it involves the tax-deferred accumulation of wealth inside a tax-exempt whole life policy that's followed by a rollover of that policy to a child or a grandchild. And so people call it a waterfall because the wealth flows down like a waterfall to your kids and to your grandkids and then great-grandkids and great-great-grandkids. And so just so we're clear, in the Income Tax Act, what is a child? A child is your children, grandchildren, son or daughter-in-law. It's your spouse's kids from other marriages, adopted kids, children from a common law relationship. So all of these can be called children. These are the people that you would use the concept with, and it's who you're generally passing the legacy down to. And so how does it work? So you are the person that's transferring the wealth, and you purchase a tax-exempt permanent whole life insurance policy on yourself, on your kids, on their kids, on basically as many people in the family as you can. And these insurance policies, you want to overfund them as much as possible, which means you want to put as much cash in them that you possibly can over however long that period of time is, right? Whether it's 10 years or 20 years or for your entire life. So it really depends on kind of how much do you want to put in here and how fast you actually can put in that much amount of money into these policies. These types of policies, they grow on a tax deferred basis, and then eventually they can get transferred to your child or to your grandkids. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. So number one is by actually just transferring the policy and just giving it to them. So you can do that for no consideration, meaning that they don't have to pay you for it. And that's a tax-free way to transfer assets to those kids. Another way to do it is when you pass away. So when you pass away, the insurance is going to pay out to that next generation. And then ideally you would have spoken to your family about it and they would know what's going on. And you have rules around kind of what that money can do. So we're going to talk about the first way here, where now the child becomes the new policy owner. And so they don't have any immediate tax consequences here. And then they would only be taxed if they withdraw the funds from the policy. But obviously you've spoken to them in the past and you told them don't do that. So we could recommend, when your kids want to use the money, they can borrow against the policy. So it's essentially setting up your kids with an opportunity to take these loans out and to use for big life purchases, which is usually things like universities or down payments or setting them up with like a business or retirement. They own this policy for the rest of their life, and then eventually they're going to pass on, and then that death benefit is going to pay out to the beneficiaries. You want to have some sort of system there that keeps all of this together. So like in the Rockefeller Method in the US, they talk a lot about using trusts to do this. And it works in the US because of the way that trusts are set up and because of the way the taxability of trusts is set up. In Canada, trusts don't stay tax-free forever, right? So every 21 years, the assets of that trust become taxable. So you don't actually set this thing up the exact same in Canada as you do in the US. Even before we get into technical details, you got to know the why, right? Why would you do this? As this new baby boomer generation ages, there's going to be a tremendous transfer of wealth. The largest wealth transfer in our life, like in recent history, right? So current estimates say that over these next few years, trillions of dollars are going to be moving from the boomer generation to Gen X to the millennials and Gen Z, depending on how your family is. And so this wealth transfer is promising because potentially it's like a significant financial turning point for many of the people that are going to receive this money. However, there's a huge consideration. This transfer of assets between generation needs to take into account taxes, death and taxes. The CRA understands that this transfer is happening and they are definitely going to get their piece. So if you don't set up your estate and your legacy, your planned wealth transfer, potentially half of what you think you're giving to your kids or half of what you as the adult children think you're going to receive from your parents, like half of it could go to Ottawa and then they could decide what to do with that money, versus if you do set yourself up properly, you can set it up where the majority of your money goes to who you want it to go to, not to who some bureaucrat in Ottawa thinks it should go to. So an effective way to mitigate these tax liabilities during this wealth transfer is to use insurance. Right? By incorporating insurance into your financial plan, you can strategically manage and minimize that tax burden that's associated with passing wealth to the next generation. And then if you set up this waterfall method and the life insurance while your children are young, then there's even more time for the policies that we're talking about, these whole life policies, to grow and to compound over time. Then you're also able to help them to mitigate the taxation that they're going to have when you pass away. Right? There's going to be what's called a terminal income tax that's due, right? So when you die in Canada, the CRA assumes that the day before you died, there was a deemed disposition, which means that they assume that you sold all your assets at fair market value, and then that entire amount becomes taxable as your final tax return. That could be it's most people's largest tax bill that they're ever going to get in their life. And that needs to be paid before any money can get paid out to your estate, to your beneficiaries. Tax advantages of being able to put the money into the insurance, to be able to use the money through the different loans and the leverage for as you go through your stages in life and as your kids go through their stages in life. It's a great opportunity for you to teach your kids how this works, right? How does this financial system work and what can they use it for? Because they're likely going to get lots of money into this policy to be able to put towards big purchases, and then they can focus on growing their wealth without having to worry as much about these big purchases. So a concept like this can really create peace of mind for your family. That's why you would do it. Why would you not do it? So big reason that you wouldn't do this is that you don't have the funds necessary to put towards a big policy for you or for your kids. So preferably you'd be able to put away whatever it is. It's thousands of dollars a month. Some people are doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and even millions of dollars a year. There's budget issues. Another reason that you might not want to do this, which is not just the cost, is that you don't have a good money mindset, or your kids don't have a good money mindset. Now, you're not good at saving money. Your kids are not good at saving money. So generally, before you start thinking of this is this is not your first step. This is like a more advanced strategy. It's better to learn good money mindset, good savings mindset, so that you can get to a point where this makes sense. Whether you're calling this the Waterfall Concept or the Rockefeller Method or whatever it is, we've got it here tailored for Canadians that really want to protect and grow their wealth effectively, and people who see value in passing money on to their beneficiaries, or people who see value in leaving a legacy, right? If you don't see value in leaving a legacy, or you don't want to leave anything to your kids, then this is not a good idea for you. But if that is important for you, if you do want to leave something and you want to leave that, then this is a great way to do it. So I would highly recommend that you talk to a financial advisor. If you don't have one, you can talk to somebody like us. This is what we do. We've been doing this for more than 10 years, and we can see how a strategy like this could fit into your financial future. You can book a meeting with us through our website, which is safepacific.com. Any of those messages that go through the website, they come to me. Somebody on the team is going to reply to those within 24 hours, and we'll be able to set up a meeting time. We can work with clients all across the country. And then before you go, do all the things that the robots like so that this video can go higher and be seen by more people. So that means like it, subscribe to the channel. If you got any questions, leave a comment. We're on top of these comments, so we will answer. And thanks for watching. That's it for today. I'll see you next time.